Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sarika Makol, Associate Professor in Sagar Group of Institutions. Today we will be discussing about process of communication in the subject communication skills from MBA 4th semester. Now before going further for the topic that is process of communication, first of all we'll discuss about what is communication. As communication is a very common word which is being used by everyone, right? So communication is everywhere. In day-to-day life also we need communication. As man is a social animal, so we cannot live without communicating the things with the other person. So communication doesn't only means that when we communicate in English, it can be a communication through expression, it can be a communication through signs, symbols, verbal, non-verbal. So communication is needed everywhere. It is very necessary to communicate your emotions, your feelings, your ideas to the other person. So that is known as communication. Like for example, in a very simple way, if a small baby who cannot speak even, if he feels hungry, he can also communicate this message to his mother by only his emotions. Like he start crying because he is feeling hungry. So this is also a kind of a communication. So in this very particular slide, we'll discuss about what are the various steps of communication process. So we'll moving further. Now first of all, see these expressions. Communication is a series of experiences of what? You hear, that is also a communication because you want to hear the things. Then smelling, touching, seeing, taste. All these five sense organs or five senses comes into the series of experiences of communication. Now further, the meaning of communication, it's a dynamic process. Why we call it as a dynamic process? Because it keeps on changing. Through this process we convey our thoughts, feelings to someone else. Here someone else means the other person to whom we want to share our thoughts. Then how it is received depends on the set of events, stimuli that person is exposed to. How you say, what you say plays an important role in communication. It's very important to communicate the things in such a manner that the other person should understand this. See, communication means when you express your feelings, but it can be a complete communication or an effective communication only and only if the other person would also understand the same thing in the same manner as you said so. Only then it becomes a complete communication or effective communication. So now further we move to the process of communication. So first of all, please look at this diagram of the communication, which gives you an idea that what are the various steps we are going to cover in this process of communication. We have 5 steps basically for the process of communication. The first step starts with the idea. The process starts when the sender has an idea in his mind, then the idea becomes a message, then that message will be transmitted to the other person. The receiver gets the message and then receiver reacts and sends the feedback. So with these 5 steps, the process of communication will be completed. Now one by one, we'll discuss the steps of communication process. The first step is when the sender has an idea. Normally we human beings create idea in our mind, right? But until and unless you just convert that very ideas into words, into some sentences, that remains in your mind only, that remains in your thinking only. So first of all, whenever the idea comes into your mind, you start thinking about the things. So if you do not think before communicating verbally or in writing, then the communication can become meaningless or merely a passive reaction to some action from the opposite person. So it is very much necessary that before sending an idea or before converting that idea into your words, you first of all think about it, only then you will communicate that idea. So basically communication starts with an idea. Until and unless any idea came into your mind, there should not be anything that can be communicated or to share. So the idea must be worthwhile and suit the needs of the situation. This is must. That idea should not be like that is a weird idea that you just go and tear out the stars from the sky. So that cannot be an idea. That should be worthwhile or it should suit the needs of the situation. Now the second step is when the sender has an idea, now the secondly, he'll just convert that very idea into a message, which is the important thing. The idea has to become a message to be communicated or shared with others. Why? Because idea cannot be communicated to the other person. This is your words, this is your message which can be communicated in the form of words or pictures, that depends. But the other person cannot read out your mind. You have to convert that very idea into your words. So that basically is also known as encoding. When you just encode the idea which is in your mind. So the message has to be carefully transformed into words which the receiver can grasp or understand. Like in computer language, we normally do digital computer. In which we do the encoding, and the encoded words are being transferred into the language which we can understand easily. So in addition, the manner in which the communication is to occur in written communication has to be decided by the sender or communicator. The manner of the message can be decided by the communicator, whether he would like to give the message in oral form or in written form, but it has to be converted into the words. Only then that has some value, otherwise it does not have any value if it remains into your mind. So the central issue of focus in communication should not get disturbed or diluted by the surrounding words. Now the third step is, now the idea has been converted into the message. Now the third step is the message has to be transmitted. It should not be like that when the idea came into your mind, you convert that very idea into message and keep it with you only. That does not give any sense, that does not give any purpose to be solved. So the message is physically transmitted to the receiver through a selected channel. So the chosen channel can be one of oral, written or graphic. It can be any of the three types of channels. Then oral messages can be transmitted face to face or through telephone or through teleconferencing. Written or graphic messages can be sent through post, fax, emails, or nowadays it can be sent through WhatsApp also. So this can be the media which you can use to transfer your message. Now the fourth step is, when you just transmitted your message, then you have to be very much careful that whether the receiver has got the message or not, and if the receiver has got the message, whether he has been able to understand it or not. So the receiver gets the message, now he'll decodes that very message which you have just transmitted him. If the message is spoken or oral, the receiver must pay attention and understand it. If the speech is given, then the audience must be attentive to the words. If the message is in writing, then the receiver must actually receive it, read it, interpret it, and then try to understand that very message. Only then the purpose of that very message sent would be fruitful. In fact, if the receiver interprets the message inaccurately, then everything can go wrong, because the purpose of that very particular exercise will be futile then. Now the receiver has got the message, but the communication can be said completed if the receiver who receives the message will react in the same manner as the sender has sent the message. It means that the receiver reacts to the message and sends the feedback. So the receiver has to provide a signal about receiving the message, and this signal is known as feedback, but it can be known as effective communication only and only if the receiver has understood the message in the same manner as the sender has sent him. If he has not understood it in the same manner, then the purpose of sending the message will be defeated, and that proves to be a barrier in the communication. So it is very necessary on the part of the receiver. So we can say on this very particular part that role of both sender and receiver is important, but the role of receiver is much more important than sender, because if the receiver is not able to understand the message in the same manner, then the purpose of sending that message will be defeated. Now again, this diagram is being shown to you so that you can recollect all the points which we have discussed in the first slide. So you can see this slide again. You just remember all the points. सबसे पहला हमने point किया था the sender has an idea. Second, the idea become a message. Third, the message is transmitted. Fourth, the receiver gets the message. And fifth and the last is the receiver reacts and sends the feedback. So it is a continuous process. Why we call it as a dynamic process or a never-ending process. Now, as I am talking about the barriers to communication with the help of this, due to this process of communication, what kind of barriers? The first stage is sender has an idea become a message. So what kind of barriers occur at this stage? transforming an idea into excess or too much or too little of information. If you just send the message which contains too much words, too little information, or too much information, means overloaded message can also create confusion in the mind of the receiver. So use of words in the message that the receiver cannot understand. Do not use such kind of words in the message which cannot be understood by the receiver. You know the level of the receiver to whom you are sending. So always use such kind of vocabulary which could be understood by the receiver. Message should be properly organized. It should not be unorganized. Poor knowledge of communication always lead to confusing message. Your tenses, your vocabulary should be correct in all the senses. Otherwise, the meaning of the message could be changed. Then the message through which, the channel through which you are transmitting your message should be correct. The selection of the channel should be correct one. Like for example, if your messages are long and complex, so never communicate it through written communication. You can just communicate it through the phone or face-to-face communication. Using shorthand or abbreviation resulting in lack of clarity. If your writing is not good, then never try to just send the message in writing. Poor emphasis, too many ideas given importance, failure of channel, wrong address, equipment out of order, poor bandwidth. So you should be very much sure that the channel which you are using should be the correct channel. Now at the fourth stage, what kind of barriers may occur at the stage of receiver? If the receiver is careless, he can ignore the message. The relationship between receiver and sender is not good. Like for an example, between employer and employee, if the relationship between boss and employee is not good, then that can be happened that receiver intentionally will not try to interpret the message correctly and will not give the right feedback. Third, if the message is oral and receiver lacks listening skills, then message will not register. Obviously, if the message is not properly listened by the receiver, then also the purpose of the message will defeated, and obviously the language problems. If the language in which you are sending the message is not understood by the receiver, then that become a barriers to the communication. Then at that very moment the receiver will not send the feedback. Another thing is receiver has understood the message but he has not sent the feedback to the sender, then also it would not be treated as a complete communication. So thank you so much. I hope you would be able to understand what we were discussing today.